the term that I use, talents humans, I use that because I think people do now consume work. And organizations need to realize that we need to treat candidates, employees, and contractors, temps, whatever they may be, as consumers. So think about, if they were your customers, what great customer service would you give them? And HR need to think about that the same way, the service we're giving to those employees to allow them and encourage them to do their very best work. Yeah, I think, so what companies need to realize is that personal brand is everything in today's world. It's all about me, myself, I. You know, and it doesn't mean people are selfish. It just means they have different values in terms of what's important to them. So people's craft, their skill, is now more important than what it says above the door. So previous generation, you'd be proud of the fact that you work for XYZ company. Now it's more about, I'm proud of who I am. So if somebody said to you, what do you do? Now you'll tell them the skill and who you're doing it for. Previous generation would always say the company name first. So to companies to realize that this isn't a less loyal generation, they're just loyal to their own skills. So therefore, as you're attracting them, motivating them, and encouraging them, you need to understand how important that is to them and allow them, if they're working with their competence, what they're really, really good at, in a collaborative environment, they'll definitely want to get involved and they'll want to have more interaction, not less, and I want to work from home. It isn't, you know, we can't just say, oh, that's the generational thing. It isn't. That's too wide just a generic statement. You've got to truly understand what motivates them, and what motivates them is that connectedness, but also to use their skills. So think about them as an individual, what's really important to them, how can I improve their skills, then you'll get them on board. Obviously culture change all around the world. I think what's a general statement right now is there's a talent shortage globally. What's really interesting though, I think that the next frontier will be Africa. So within the next 15 years, a quarter of the world's population below the age of 24 will live in Africa. Just in 15 years. And it's an untapped market. Now people will say, yeah, the infrastructure isn't there, etc. We said that about Asia 30 years ago. People need to start thinking about how can we tap into that talent base. Because in developed countries, we're just running out of skills. I think that if we take one of our clients, a big technology company around the world that we work with, they had a really, really bad image. Most of the board had been locked up for embezzlement, etc., and they were down. It took us 4 years, but we've completely turned that brand around now to one of the leading global organizations in their space, and we've done that by starting within. So when we think about branding, messaging, to me that's not about pretty pictures that you're telling the world, it's about getting it right internally first. You've got to create a culture that you can tell stories about. So in marketing terms, we used to say content is king. Now conversation is king. It's just the content that they're talking about that we want to get involved in. So how do you get those real stories, create the atmosphere, create the environment that they're happening, and then find channels to tell the world?